It's the key to being youthful. I could not resist it. People were coming up to me and telling me who they think is going to win and all of that. I'm like, I can't say.
The infamous NFL logo hat.
My phone, they say, oh, my phone was blowing up. You need to invent a different phrase for what was going on. I was in 8th grade English with Robert Downey Jr.
We're joined today by the man, the myth, the legend himself. You can watch him on The Floor currently. The one and only Rob Lowe. How we doing, Rob?
I'm good. Good to talk to you. How are you today?
Doing good. Can't complain. So wanted to start off with some health and wellness. Want to know what
Sure.
originally made you want to try Atkins?
So I was probably in my mid 30s, and I'd reached that moment where I was like, you know what? I can't eat like I did in college, and it's
Yeah.
just that moment where your metabolism starts to change. And um, I was 30 years ago, I was aware that, the Atkins method
Yeah.
was very, very simple, very, very healthy. And over the course of time is become sort of the standard. I mean, it really is the original paleo, really.
Yeah.
And it's, just very simply cutting carbs, cut the carbs, low carbs, high protein, reduced sugars. Super, super simple, super, super easy, not complicated, great results.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm currently trying to lose weight myself, so I might have to get on that Atkins. But bes-
It's so easy. It's so easy. You can order off any menu at any time, shop anywhere for anything, very easy and still yummy.
besides like literally not aging, wanted to know like what's the biggest benefit you've seen in your life from trying like a low carb diet?
Energy. Um,
Energy.
Energy, number one. I remember when I cut carbs. I remember when they put the bread basket at your table at a restaurant, I could not resist it.
Oh, yeah.
Literally couldn't. And so when I cut carbs, I had made them take it away. Now that it's just a part of, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. Now you can put that right in front of me, and I'm ambivalent.
Yeah, it just doesn't interest
Um,
you.
it no, it doesn't. And so the number one thing I was just how lean you get and how much energy you get. There's just really no other long-term way to do it.
That's awesome. Speaking of energy, your new show, Unstable, is hilarious. I just wanted to
Thanks.
know, like, what was it like acting alongside your son, John Owen Lowe?
Amazing. It's great. There are times where I can't help but also find myself being his father in the scene, where,
Yeah.
where I'm like where I'm like, you know what, better posture, or engage your core, or I don't like the way your hair is, or why'd you wear that shirt? Like, and whenever I feel that way, that's exactly the character. So
Yeah.
it's this weird meta exploration of the relationship. And we just finished it's on Netflix as we speak, but we just finished our second season, which will be out probably sometime in the summer. And it's really gone to a whole other level of insanity and comedy.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, like, it seems like on the show you're having a lot of fun. So one thing I wanted to ask was, is having fun something that's extremely important to you, like moving forward with the projects you do going forward in your career?
For sure. Not only is it important for my career, but it's, I think it's the key to being youthful is having fun. I mean, kids have fun. That's what they do.
Yeah.
So to the extent that one can continue to have fun is the extent that they remain youthful. So, whether it's being able to work with my son in a comedy, or my new game show, The Floor, that's out right now, Tuesdays on Fox, is the reason I do that is because I love trivia, and I'm competitive, and I love games, and doing it is fun for me. And I'm making decisions at this point in my career based on what's going to give me the most juice, what's going to give me the most fun, engagement, get me excited, challenge me, be new.
Yeah. Speaking of the floor, I want to say congrats because it's literally the most streamed game show ever, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know, like, how did you get into the game show business? Like, how did you think, you know what, that's something that I really want to do in my career?
Well, it's funny. I when I was 15 and I was on my very, very first network television show, I played like the kid in a show called A New Kind of Family. They flew the young stars of all the ABC shows to New York to compete on the $10,000 pyramid. This is how long ago it was. It was the $10,000 pyramid. And I loved it. I won every round. I went to the final round and won it every time. I murdered on it. And so I've always liked trivia game shows, super competitive. And, now that we live in a world where that's prime time programming and people who I admire huge, Mike Myers, Alec Baldwin, Jamie Foxx, incredible people are involved in this world. I was like, you know what? I should do this. This would be really fun for me. And it has been. It's been a blast.
No, yeah, I love how like each episode, the contestants return because it's like different because you're more
Yes.
invested and you're rooting for people. So
Yeah,
that's
we're at this point I believe we're on week 6, I believe, and it's really turned the corner where enough people have been eliminated that you really know the remaining players and you're
Mhm.
invested in them. And the strategy of who you want to go after is really taking over. And the whole experience is just going to a whole other level. I hear it out in the world. People are coming up to me and telling me who they think's going to win and all of that. I'm like, I can't say anything.
No, yeah, I mean the floor has gotten like massive. Everyone's talking about it. One thing I wanted to ask you that's it's a little bit of a throwback here, but back in 2020, you went super viral for wearing the infamous NFL logo hat, if you remember that.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I've been curious for years. What was your reaction to that? Like when you saw it, like were you caught off guard? And was your inner circle like, do they still give you crap about that, or is in the past?
So here's the background on it. I believe it was the first year of 911 Lone Star, which I'm going to start season 5 next month. And it's on Fox. To promote it, they flew me to the game and they were going to cut to me in the stands and say, it's starring on 911 Lone Star. That's why I'm there. And I'm a football fan, so I'm thrilled to
Yeah.
be there. On the way into the stadium, they give me a selection of hats. And they're very like elaborate NFC championship game with both teams and the logos. And it was a whole thing. And then there was the one simple black NFL shield hat, which I'd never seen before, other than on a ref. I was like,
Yeah.
this is what the refs wear, I think. And I was like, this is sick. I'm wearing this. It's so simple. So I'm sitting there, and you never know when they're going to cut to you because the cameras are miles away. And my phone started, they say, oh, my phone was blowing up. You need to invent a different phrase for what was going on. My phone was exploding into a million pieces. And I'm like, well, I know they must have just shown me,
Yeah.
but this is really over the top. And it was because once it was out there, it became this meme
Yeah.
overnight. And it's funny, I ran into Roger Goodell recently, and he was telling me that it is among, if not the most, um, famous NFL memes ever.
No, literally, it was
Go
everywhere.
figure.
Do you still get talked about it to this day, like by your friends
Oh,
and stuff?
to this day, more than my friends, every league in the world sends me their hat. I've got MLB, I've got PGA, I've got FIFA, I've got if you have a sports like generic logo, I have that hat.
Hey, it's not a bad gig. I mean, honestly,
No,
I thought it was a great fashion choice
yeah,
personally.
me,
But
I couldn't have, and it's blind, and that's the thing about people talk about longevity and careers, and you know what, you got to be a little bit lucky. Like I just chose that hat, man. I could have chose any of the other four. If I chose any of the other four, we wouldn't be talking about it. You just never
Exactly.
know.
One more thing I wanted to cover was you've been doing your podcast for quite some time now called Literally with Rob Lowe. I just wanted to pick your brain about like what got you into doing that and like what was like, oh, you know what, I'm going to start a podcast.
You know what it was? The long form interview only exists now in the podcast world. Used to be you could kind of do it on talk shows, but even that's gone away. Maybe you talk a little bit, but inevitably it becomes, hey, we have a game we want to play, or whatever. Um, and then there were magazines. It would exist in magazines, and magazines have kind of gone away. So the only place you can have really in-depth, unbridled talks are the podcasts. So I was interested in the area. Then, I realized that my relationships that I've cultivated over so many years of doing what I do, I know the people that people are interested in a way that no one else does.
Mhm.
I was in eighth grade English with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
So when he does his Oscar campaign and he goes on Jimmy Fallon and he goes on Howard Stern or wherever he goes, when he comes on literally with me, completely different conversation.
Yeah. It's like two
And the
buddies.
same goes with Oprah or Arnold Schwarzenegger or with Paltrow or Jennifer Aniston or you name it. I know those people in a way that nobody's going to talk to them the way I do.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be a value, and it's been super fun.
Yeah, I bet like making new relationships too has been probably cool, right?
And new ones. You're right. That's the other thing is I think my most favorite guests are people I've known forever and people who I am just meeting for the first time.
Was there like a learning curve to it, or were you pretty much like, you know what, I got this. I've done a million other things. Or was it kind of like, oh, this is different. I need to learn a little more about how to do it.
I had a pretty clear point of view going in, and so I knew it was either going to work or not work. And what it was I didn't want to be produced. I didn't want segments. I barely wanted any research because I didn't want it to be a Q&A so much as I wanted it to be a conversation. And as we were editing the very, very first ones, I made sure to not edit out the random tributaries that conversations go
Yeah.
on. They're like super bizarre. Like I remember early on, I had Jimmy Kimmel, and I love Jimmy, and he's really funny, and it's one of my favorite episodes. And we started talking about, for whatever reason, what are the worst songs ever written? And we started talking about Styx's song "Mr. Roboto"
Oh my gosh.
from the 80s, and
Yeah.
and we must have talked for 30 minutes about Mr. Roboto. Now on any other podcast, they're cutting that down,
Yeah.
not mine. Like I want to hear people talking about really weird shit.
No,
Like
yeah.
if you want Chris Pratt talking about Guardians of the Galaxy for an hour, you can go get that on 1,000 other things.
Yeah.
When I get Chris Pratt on my show, we're getting down and doing really weird stuff.
No, yeah, it's the best types of podcasts is when it's just raw, unfiltered,
Yeah,
uncut. I
yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Well, all right, Rob, thank you so much. I just want to say to everyone out there, make sure you go tune into The Floor, streaming on Fox and Hulu. It's been a blast. Thanks so much for coming on, Rob.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.